As Minecraft has increased in players, modifications to make the game a better experience, aka clients, have been on the rise. Some clients that you may know are Lunar Client and Badlion Client, which are currently the biggest competitors of all time. But in this video, we won't be talking about them. Instead, we'll be talking about 3 clients that have attempted to repeat the success of Lunar and Badlion, but unfortunately didn't do so well, or at least for now. We will also be taking a look deeper down in the internet to figure out the truth on what really happened. Starting with Feather Client, probably the main reason you are even watching this video. Feather turned out like any other client, overhyped by the Minecraft community, but then fell off quickly as hate words spread. But why? It was first announced as the #1 client for everything. The client cost over $12 for beta testing, yet they got around 15,000 subscribers on YouTube, 500,000 views on their trailer, and over 80,000 members on their Discord server. Basically, it was spreading like a wildfire, no matter the cost. Feather also had huge FPS boosting, which was better than Lunar, and extremely customizable mods like no other. Although, as many people say, all good things come to an end, happened with Feather, even with the client eventually becoming free. Feather had an option where you can add your own mods easily, like Forge, which made it superior to its peers, but that caused many issues, as they were putting mods in the client in a browse feature while selling the client to fellow Minecrafters. Problem with this is that they have to have a commercial license, which they didn't, and legally this isn't allowed. The owner of Replay Mod noticed this and had a complaint. To keep this short, the client lost a lot of respect and people could no longer trust the owners who made the client, and the Replay Mod was removed. To make this even worse, they were exposed once again not long after the last time. It has been a theme for a client to be exposed once it gains a lot of exposure, because people are figuring out the truth, but this time they were called out for spying through your webcam, or supposedly. Once you tried signing in with Discord on the Feather client, some antiviruses would show that it was trying to access your webcam. This was taken care of, as the reason this happened in the first place was because Discord asks for your webcam to scan a QR code. It happens also when logging into Discord through the website. After this, nothing really happened besides many Minecraft YouTubers, such as Specular Potato, brought up the question, what even is the point of switching when Lunar and other clients exist? There's no point really. Even I have tried the client during beta testing, and I got slightly more FPS, but for all the other features I could literally just use Forge for, and I really didn't find much interest, so I stayed with Lunar Client. So also, many people have a bunch of cosmetics that cost money on Lunar and Badlion, so why would you want to lose that just to switch to another client? Yes, it may have a few advantages, but it also has many disadvantages, such as this. But also, why would you trust a smaller client when I could trust one that pretty much every Minecraft player uses? At the moment, everyone has their own preference for what client they use. The options typically range between Lunar, Badlion, and Feather Client. Feather doesn't compare to Lunar or Badlion Client's popularity at all, so clearly from all this exposing, it scared many people off, or they just wanted to stick with their own current client. But this next client that failed, many of you may not even know it existed in the first place because of how quickly it popped up and got shot down. Delta Client had a different approach into becoming popular. They had many YouTubers such as Hurton and Kobe Wills post Delta's trailer on their own channel to help bring hype. These videos got thousands upon thousands of views despite it being a copy and paste. Similarly to Feather Client, it was predicted to become a very popular client because of all this fast exposure from well-respected creators. Although it quickly came tumbling down as a few things happened that were very questionable to say the least. A staff member on their Discord reported that the owner has scammed their developers, but that isn't all. The owner decided to dip out of thin air due to a few reasons that completely screwed over the client, which caused it to stop being worked on. Even with the mass potential it once had, promotion from big and respected influencers, and more, it turned out to just vanish eventually. I personally feel really bad for all the developers because they put a lot of hard work for it to be wasted and not even paid correctly. But a learning experience from this is don't trust any new client that is coming to Minecraft. There may be one occasionally that turns out to be good, but it isn't worth it shown from these last two. The last client in this video will be Cloud Client, a more unknown and recent one. I actually have interviewed the owner previously and tested out the client myself. But before we dig into this next client, make sure to subscribe and like this video. It would mean a ton. I recently have been getting very close to 10,000 subscribers, and I'm having a 10,000 subscriber pack being made by RH56 and Pug Packs, so subscribe if you're excited. But anyways, back on topic. In Cloud Client's trailer, I noticed they didn't promise much, besides just basic client features, which will be really important later on. When I interviewed the developer, a few important questions I asked were if they planned to monetize their client, which they said they had no plan to in the future, which is obviously a very good sign. The thing that stood out to me was that the entire client was being developed by one person, and it had no FPS boost. There's nothing wrong with it being developed by one person, as it could offer many advantages, such as organization and simplicity, but the time for the development will take much longer. I kind of wish the client had an FPS boost for low-end PCs, but Cloud is currently a Forge mod and doesn't have an actual launcher like Lunar does, so they can't add one. Although this interview happened 3 months ago when it was getting a ton of hype, nothing has really changed. Yes, they have one developer, so they can't work as quickly as others, but I wish they decided to recruit a few more. It has definitely had a few improvements over time, but in my experience, it has had many bugs, and is a little incomplete. I feel like Cloud should have released several months after they did a beta test when it was maybe more complete, because there are complete alternatives. To me, it seems like they released a slightly modified version of Forge and then asked for feedback, which is very interesting. But keep in mind, this could all easily change. They haven't been exposed or received hate yet, which is definitely a great sign. On their Discord, they have had a lot of changes throughout the last few months, and I personally think they have some potential for the meantime, but this could always change, and out of all the options on the list, I think this will end up with the biggest result. In the end, these clients have a lot to learn and should reflect on what happened to help prevent this, and I'd like to mention that I'm not trying to bring hate to anyone or anything mentioned in this video. Thanks so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing and liking this video, and I might make a part 2. Comment your opinions on this topic and also a few other clients that have suffered a similar fate. I will look at and heart every comment for this video. See you in the next video. Peace.